All eyes on Milwaukee tonight for the main event at the RNC. Former President Trump will take the stage to formally accept his party's nomination. A striking juxtaposition from just weeks ago when the former president faced several legal cases, all of which are now under scrutiny, delayed, or in the process of being dismissed. Alina Habba is a newly minted senior advisor to President Trump. She joins us now from Milwaukee. Alina, good to be with you. You told Fox News Digital in an interview today that you think we're going to see a different President Trump tonight. You said, I think his perspective on life has changed since Saturday. Not that he wasn't already a great fighter, but I think that the country needs to hear from him in a different light. Put that into perspective for us.
I don't think anybody could imagine having the perspective of President Trump after nearly being assassinated. And that's my point. I think that we have all, frankly, on the Trump team, and I think we have all as Americans grown to love this country a little bit more and understand that when the country is so divided under this administration, when our children are so sick that somebody would choose to waive their life to try and assassinate a former president and the likely future president, then our country has a cancer. And we need to take that cancer out. We're going to do it with President Trump. And I'll tell you right now, I'm so proud to be on the team. You mentioned it. I'm now a senior advisor, and I'm really excited. And anybody that wants to support him, DonaldJTrump.com, help us out. We've got to save America. And I'm telling you, after what happened in Butler, I don't know that there's an American in this country that is not revitalized, that is not passionate, and that does not have their faith in God just a little bit stronger.
Alina, thanks for joining us. How would you describe the current state of the former president right now, having some of the biggest few days of his life, the past few days? How's he doing?
He's grateful. I think that he's grateful. That would be the word that I would use. He's grateful for life. He's grateful for the support of all the Americans that have been out here at the RNC. He feels the energy. He feels the love. We all do. And I think truly he's grateful, but I think that he's excited. We have a tremendous amount of work to do. We cannot get lazy, and he knows that. He reminds us of that. This is a man that stood up and put up his fist and said, fight, after being shot. So we're going to fight. We're going to fight till November 5th. We got to get everybody out to vote. He knows that. He's keeping us charged up. And listen, he's a great leader. He's a great leader for me. He's a great leader for the Trump team, and he's a great leader for America. So he's excited. We're excited to hear him tonight. So
I wanted to ask you, Alina, about the different public images of the two candidates here. I want to put up a split screen here. This is former President Trump Saturday, right after half his ear was taken off with that shot, narrowly escaped death. Corey Comparatore, unfortunately, did not. And then on the right-hand side of the screen, Joe Biden yesterday in Las Vegas, trying to get up the stairs of Air Force One. Here's what Van Jones, former Obama advisor, said about this contrast in images.
Strength versus weakness. A bullet couldn't stop Trump. A virus just stopped Biden. You've got the nominees of this party getting their butts kissed. Biden's getting his butt kicked by his own party. The Democrats are coming apart. The Republicans are coming together.
What do you make of that analysis?
I think that's pretty accurate. I think the one thing he forgets to say is that we have a president who has serious cognitive decline. We have a party now, the Democrat Party, that has completely fallen apart because their love for taking down President Trump came before their love for America. And that is a problem. And I think he's right. When you have CNN trying to take him down, don't think they don't have a plan. They don't have something up their sleeve. Let's be very clear. The Democrat Party is not stupid. They know what they're doing. They are obviously not backing Biden right now. But I'll be honest with you, I don't care if it's Harris. I don't care if it's Biden. We have a winning team, and we have a party that is unified, and he is right about that. So thank you for CNN. You're right. We are stronger than ever, and we're going to keep getting stronger.
Well, there's some reaction coming into your growing role on the Trump team. In fact, Corey Mills, the Republican from Florida, said the greatest part about what you do is that you don't speak from opinion. It's based on legal facts and procedures, and you do it in a way that's articulate, powerful, and gorgeous to boot. What has been the response to you on the team, and what's the general feeling right now as the calls are growing from Democrats for the current president to step aside from this race?
Well, I think it's important. I'm fortunate, frankly, for those statements from Corey. That's lovely. The truth of the matter is this. I only have my voice because of President Trump, and I'm going to use it. I'm going to use it till November 5th. We all need to use our voices until November 5th, and more importantly, we need to use our feet that Joe Biden cannot use himself to walk ourselves to the ballot boxes and vote. And that is what we are going to do.
Well, yeah, you better do more than walk to the ballot box. I think you better get some early votes in as well, because the Democrats are very 100%. Good at that. All right, Alina, good to talk to you. Thank you so much.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.